Hello and welcome back to another video. That was an aggressive clap. I'm here today with my May TBR. No, June TBR. Months are hard. I say this in every TBR video that I do. I've been reading more and more every month. There must be a stopping point somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. So it's May 25th and I've read 41 books. So the TBR is pretty big because I'm like, well, I know I'm gonna read them. We're probably gonna keep being on lockdown here until like mid-June, I think, so still lots of reading time. I've got a massive pile of books here, more like 3 piles, and I have a couple new releases on my list that I obviously don't have in my hands yet, and some ARCs that I want to get to. So let's start with the ARCs. There are 3 that I want to read. The first one is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. So I read The House in the Cerulean Sea a couple weeks ago, I think, and it was everything that I dreamed it would be. It was so good. I swear it solved every single problem in my life. So I obviously need to read everything from TJ Klune. This one, I remember looking at the synopsis when I requested the ARC. I think it's something about a ferryman to the afterlife, falling in love with someone. It's got a cute little cover with a house on it, and I'm excited. I also have The Dead in the Dark, which I have no recollection of the synopsis. I think it's kind of like more of a mystery vibe, maybe thrillery. But again, it's got a really cool cover. And the last ARC is super random. It is The Last Nomad, so I'll have a cover here. This is like more of a travel memoir slash like cultural memoir. I used to read a lot of travel books. I will in the future. I just have not been able to read about travel without being depressed lately. But this one is obviously an e-ARC, so I want to read it before the book comes out, and that's why I'm going to read it this month. In terms of new releases, I apologize in advance for not knowing the synopses of these, but the first one is Ace of Spades, and I also need to look up how to pronounce the author of this book because I don't want to butcher it, but here she is. This is like a dark academia thriller, and it's queer, diverse, etc. I'm pretty sure. So it sounds amazing. I'm really excited. I think this one comes out early in the month too, so I'll definitely be picking it up the moment it comes in. I also have Blood Like Magic by Liselle something. Okay, yes, Liselle Sambury. This is an urban fantasy, and I'm pretty sure that the girl has to sacrifice her true love. That sounded kind of like The Bone Witch to me, or not The Bone Witch, what's it called? Bonecryer's Moon, which I did really like. It's got a beautiful cover. A couple authors that I really admire have said great things about it, and I love a good urban fantasy, so really excited about that one. I also have Daughters of Sparta by Claire Andrews. This one is funny because there's also a book coming out in June called Daughter of Sparta, and it's by Claire Haywood, and I may be mixing up the titles because they're basically the same, but they're both like Greek mythology retellings. Just one is YA, kind of urban fantasy, and one is like adult, more Circe Song of Achilles vibes. So I do want to read them both, but I've pre-ordered Daughters of Sparta just because it has more reviews at this point. So I think that the girl has to compete in some sort of thing. It looks really cool. Literally, I just saw Greek mythology and I was like, pre-order. This one is super hyped, so I'm sure you've all heard of it. It is An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahira Mafi. I loved A Very Large Expanse of Sea. It was super impactful and amazing, so I know I have to read this one, and I cannot wait. This one only got on my radar recently. It's Sisters of the Snake. It's written by 2 Canadian sisters, which is awesome, and I don't know anything about the plot. Again, I just saw the cover. That's pretty much it. I think it's got Indian mythology in it, so that's all I needed to know. Okay, I also want to read The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series, which I really loved. I think like the mystery wrapped up in book 3, so I have no idea where this one is gonna go, but I'm down to find out. I didn't pre-order it because I have the rest of them in paperback, and of course I need them to match. But I'll just borrow it from work or the library or something and then buy it when it comes out in paperback. Also, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. This is kind of half ARC, half new release because I have an e-ARC, but it comes out in 2 weeks, so I should probably get on that. This is like a dark academia, Greek mythology thriller. That's like literally the best thing I've ever heard. So it's got fall vibes to me. I kind of want to wait to read it in the fall, but I have an e-ARC, so I shouldn't do that because it'll mess up my percentage on NetGalley. I'll probably read it, but I think it's going to be a fall reread staple, assuming that it's good. I'm assuming a lot here. Okay, everything else I have with me. Yes. Okay, so first I'm intending to read the entire Lunar Chronicles series. I know I read Cinder. I remembered a little bit. I have no idea if I continued the series back in the day. I've managed to thrift all of these, which I think is a great accomplishment because it was all separate. But yeah, these are like sci-fi fairy tale retellings. I remember them being pretty good. I think they're going to be fairly quick reads and like fun to get through. So they're here to kind of balance out some more serious books. But yeah, I might film a reading vlog with these. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. I just feel like these are so popular and it's always fun to watch reading vlogs of books that you've already read. So I might do that. Another full series I'm intending to read, I'm very excited about. This is the Becca Cooper series by Tamora Pierce. If you're new, I am a Tamora Pierce stan. I have loved her since I was like probably 8 years old. She's like what got me into fantasy and like strong feminist main characters. But I've actually never read this series. I did read Terrier. I think this one was just coming out when I was like 16 or 17, probably like around when I moved away to university and got out of reading a little bit. So I have the first one in hardcover, but I also now have it in this matching set. Some of them are very beat up, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm rambling about Tamora Pierce. These are set in her Tortell world / universe, which is like where most of her books are set. And they follow Becca Cooper, who is about 200 years before the Alana books, if you're familiar with them. She is a trainee in the Guard, and I don't remember much about them, but I would read anything by Tamora Pierce. I would read her grocery list. So very excited about these. Let's just keep it going with the full series, I guess. I'm finally going to read Warcross by Marie Lu. I do have both books here. This one's actually signed, which is super fun. And they're both pretty short, so I think this is going to be really fast-paced. This is a sci-fi duology set in like a virtual reality game. I think the main character's name is Amika. And, oh yeah, she works as a bounty hunter tracking down people like within the game. So it sounds super unique. I've never really read anything like that. I think it's compared to Ready Player One sometimes. So maybe I'll watch that movie. Is that a movie? It's a book, I know that, but I'm pretty sure it's also a movie. Anyway, also I think this cover's really cool, you know? So, Marie Lu, yay. Okay, so in my last video, which I will link, I read the first chapter of 8 like series that have been on my shelf for a while that I didn't know a single thing about. It was supposed to help me narrow down what I wanted to read, and I came out of it wanting to read literally all of them right away. So I did manage to pick 3, and I just put the first book on my TBR instead of just choosing one series. So we'll see if I actually like get through more of the series than just the first book this month. But I have This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada. I thought that this was like a sci-fi set in space, which is not my favorite sci-fi. I've learned from the first 11 pages that I read that there's a zombie apocalypse, and if you eat part of a zombie, then you are immune from becoming a zombie. So who's really the zombie, right? I just think that sounds so cool and unique. So I had to choose this one because I'm super excited about it, and there's a big chance I'm gonna read it before May ends because I want to. I also picked Dorothy Must Die, which was a big surprise to me. I've had these on my shelves for a while, and like I don't know why I bought them because I don't think I'm gonna like them. But then I read the first couple chapters and I was like, oh, I do like them. So it's like a dark Wizard of Oz retelling, kind of like Portal Fantasy-esque, I think. So yeah, I feel like again this one's gonna be pretty quick. I'm looking forward to it. Another surprise was Frostblood by Ellie Blake. This is a high fantasy where blood determines your magic. So the main character is Ruby, and she has fire magic, and they are hunted by the Empire. So yeah, the first 16 pages were like super gripping, a lot happened, and I was sold. So this is on the TBR too. That video was actually really fun. I feel like I might do it in the future because I have so many complete series that I don't know a single thing about. I am also hoping to read Hunted by the Sky by Tanaz Bathina. This is actually by a Canadian author, which I love, and it's inspired by Indian mythology. I don't know much else about the actual plot, but cover, mythology. The second book in this duology is coming out this month, and I believe I'm getting a copy of it from the publisher, so I want to make sure that I get to this one first, and it just sounds really up my alley, so I'm really excited about that. I'm also going to start the Tiger at Midnight series by Swati Teerdala. So I have book 2 here. This is The Archer at Dawn, but I've ordered the first one, Tiger at Midnight, and the third one actually comes out at the end of the month. So I might get to that in July, if not June. We'll see. I don't want to read the synopsis of this one because it's the second one, but I'm pretty sure it's enemies to lovers, also Indian mythology. Again, covers, and girl that I like on TikTok posted about these and sold me on them. So let me know if you've read these, I'm curious. Okay, this month I delved into Brandon Sanderson for the first time. I read Elantris because I just wanted to kind of like check off a standalone. But this month I'm gonna get into the Mistborn trilogy. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love these. Strong female main character, super cool world building and magic system. I've heard pretty much nothing but good things. I hate mass market paperbacks. I hate them. So I hate that I have to read this like this. 600 pages in a mass market paperback. My life is hard. But yeah, I think that the magic in these is based around consuming metals, and the main character is named Vin, and that's all I know, but I feel like I can't be a real fantasy reader until I've read more Brandon Sanderson. So I'm starting here because these are kind of like, you know, they're easier to get into than his 1,000-page epics. So yeah, I have the first 2 books on my TBR for now. I always kind of do 1 or 2, and then if I'm really into it, I'll just binge the series, but I feel like these are gonna be a little bit slower. I've put on a delightful reread for myself. I'm super excited about this. This is the first book in the Pendragon series by DJ McHale. It's called The Merchant of Death. These were so good. So I read these when I was a kid. There's 10 of them. They follow a boy named Bobby who discovers that there's like these 10 different universes basically, and he has to go save each of them from someone who's trying to destroy them. They're very underrated. No one ever talks about them. I didn't even have my copies anymore, but I've been collecting them by thrifting them basically. This one's only like 300-400 pages, I think, so it should be pretty quick, but I haven't read these in so long, I can't wait to see if they're just as good now or if they're like childish, you know? I also want to read 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston. This was a pretty random pick. I just saw it on my shelf and I was like, I want to read that. So I think it's like I was just about to say, I think it's a retelling of the Arabian Nights. Yeah, that's why it's called 1,000 Nights. So I think it's about the girl in the myth who has to read a story every night, and if she finishes the story, she dies. That's not the plot, but it's fine. Also, my favorite thing about this book, look at that. Every book should do this. Isn't that so cool? So yeah, it's pretty short. I like mythology. It's on the list. Alrighty, I also have The Burning Shadow and The Brightest Night on here by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It wouldn't be a reading month without some trashy paranormal romance, am I right? So these are book 2 and 3 in the Origin series. I just finished The Darkest Star this morning actually, and it was really good. Like, I liked the Lux series, but the writing's a little bit like lame, I guess. It felt a little more sophisticated here, and I actually really liked the characters. The plot twists I actually didn't see coming too, which is rare for this kind of book, I feel. So I'm excited to keep going. I hate that the covers don't match, but no one asked. We're almost done. Next up is Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller. I read her newest book, Blade of Secrets, this month, and I read The Shadows Between Us a while ago. And she just writes super fun, light fantasy, and I've just been in the mood for her lately. So this one, I think there's some sort of quest. She has to kill a god. Sold. And it's so pretty. As you can tell, I have not improved during my time away with my synopsis giving. Last one, very random. I always like to throw in a historical fiction for myself, and this month I've got The Island of Sea Women by Lisa See. I love Lisa See's historical fiction, Shanghai Girls, and the sequel, Dreams of Joy. I've read them like 10 times. So this one is set on the Korean island of Jeju. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But it's 2 girls who start working with like a diving group. And I think it's based, obviously, it's historical fiction. It's based in a lot of fact. But yeah, I found this at a used bookstore. I didn't even know it had come out because I guess I don't follow like new releases in historical fiction as much. But I think I'm really gonna love this, and it'll definitely work for that historical fiction mood whenever it comes. So those are all the books I'm hoping to read in June. It'll probably end up being even more than that because I have a problem, no life, but it's fine, I'm reading. Let me know if you've read any of these. I would love to hear your thoughts, and make sure to check out the video where I read the first chapter of 8 books to see which ones I wanted to add here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye!